The thing is, though, I met my wife, Carrie, who's been on the channel a few times. And I decided I didn't want to be a musician anymore. I decided I wanted something closer to home because I realized that if I became a musician professionally, I'd have to tour. And I really, really liked this girl. And I wanted to marry this girl. And hey, everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bull Central. I got a really, really good suggestion from an individual who's becoming a really good friend. I met him through this channel, and like I said, we've been getting to know each other over the past year, and he said, basically, that I should try to make more of these mental health videos, try to do it at least once a week or so. And I thought that was a really good idea because I really do like making these. I don't always have something to say. I feel as though I'd be repeating myself too much, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot here. So maybe not every single week, maybe every couple weeks, but we're going to do a few of these a month, try to for the time being. If I do end up repeating myself too much, apologies, I'll scale it back. But until then, we'll give this a shot. So I thought I'd talk about, to kind of coincide, if you don't mind, I have to advertise my stuff that I make on here a little bit, because if I don't, it won't get seen by anybody, which sucks. It sucks making stuff that you really like to share and then not having anybody to share it with. But yesterday I put out the second remastered album of music. I did Audiophile 1 back in December, and my second album was called The Finger Pointing to the Moon, and I just remastered that. I put it out yesterday, so all the songs have brand new masters. The audio sounds much better, much crisper, much clearer, louder. The order is different. The track listing is different. I remixed, I remastered, I resequenced. Excuse me, my voice is rough because we're still getting over a cold here. It was a weird bug. So my voice is rough. But I remastered all this music and I put it out yesterday so that you can go check that out if you want. But I wanted to take this opportunity to try to talk about creativity again. In regards to mental illness. Long story short, again, you'll see this in my other mental health videos, but I suffer from schizoaffective disorder, depression. I have some anxiety. Some of that stuff is not quite diagnosed, but I suffer from it. It's not that I self-diagnose at all. Trust me, I don't. But I find it helpful to kind of explain what's up with me, what my special stuff is. So I get asked sometimes, I do, how it is that I can do creative stuff, or I get asked about my process sometimes, and I thought I'd share it. So in addition to being a YouTuber, I write books. I write kind of fantasy horror type stuff with a sense of humor. And I write music, and I record music, and I release music under the artist name Audiophile. Audiophile comes from my friend and I. I had a friend in high school. I had a band in high school called Hearing Impaired, which I was thinking about that name the other day, and I was like, that's an awful name for a band. I don't know what I was thinking other than I was 15. But when that band dissolved, my friend and I, Kyle, who was the bass player in that band, we decided to become a unit together, and we called ourselves Audiophile, and we recorded a couple albums privately. And a lot of the music that I have out here now as Audiophile is those original recordings. I've recorded 2 albums of brand new material just last year. But the majority of the music that I have published as Audiophile has been him and me, the stuff that we made when we were like 19, 20, 21, kind of that age. And a lot of it was pretty good. Not great, but a lot of it was pretty good. So I don't mind releasing it now as an almost 40-year-old man. And so I learned guitar, and I started learning how to sing and write songs when I was about 10 years old. And I played music pretty intensely through high school. I'm a high school dropout, but I played a lot of high school dances and stuff with my band, with hearing impaired. And the thing is, though, I met my wife, Carrie, who's been on the channel a few times. And I decided I didn't want to be a musician anymore. I decided I wanted something closer to home, because I realized that if I became a musician professionally, I'd have to tour. And I really, really liked this girl. And I wanted to marry this girl and hopefully start a family with her. And so I decided to become a writer instead, because that was my other lifelong passion, was storytelling. I've been doing that probably longer than I have been a musician. So I quit. I quit singing out in public. I was doing a lot of coffee house gigs and bar gigs, and I was recording stuff, but I was losing my passion because I was overdoing it as well. So it was very natural to slip into writing. And I started applying myself really, really hard to learning how to write short stories for science fiction, fantasy, and horror. I did some essay writing. I've done a little poetry, but that's kind of what I focused on. And I went to school for it. I got a bachelor's in just basically English. And then I also got a master's of fine arts in creative writing, pop fiction, because that's what I love, popular storytelling. I love Star Wars. I love Star Trek. I love video games. I'm a nerd. That's who I am. I love to write it too, with a little bit more intelligence, I think. You can be the judge of that. But the thing is when I was going to school, I started to get sick with that too, with the writing here and there, because it was hard. It was a lot of reading and it was a lot of writing. That degree really shaped me up and made me a much better writer. But then, so, lo and behold, I started returning back to the music, and that's kind of where I'm at now. I've made a lot of music in the last year and two, and I continue to do that here on YouTube. And I'm planning in the planning stages of my next book, but I'm slow on that one, because writing a novel is a lot harder than making an album of music, and I'm not all about the hard right now. Probably because I have been having mental health issues, for the better part of a decade now, and it's just wearing on me. It's really wearing on me now and then. So that's where I come from creatively. That's why I do what I do, and I like making YouTube videos because I've always liked visual things. And I like to talk about games, and I like to talk about mental health, and I like to talk about I like to make music. And truly, the thing that I love to do most with this channel is to stage bigger projects. So when I write a song, even if it's not the best song I've ever written, I record it here, me performing it. I put it up on my channel. And I do this enough times, I get a group of songs together, and then I go back at a later date and I start picking the ones that I like the best, and I compile them and I record them properly in my kind of ersatz home studio here, which is literally just my father-in-law's living room, because he's awesome and he lets me do that. And then I have an album after about a month or two, and I put it out. So it's like a self-fueling process, I think, as you can see. I make a promise to myself by recording the songs in the first place, just me and my guitar. And the more that I sit with those songs and I hear those songs and I watch those videos, because I watch my own videos, but only because I'm a perfectionist and I want to try to figure out how I can do these better all the time. I'm not that great at making these videos, but I try to learn. And so it's a process that just kind of completes itself. It keeps me honest. It keeps me working. And I find that having schizoaffective disorder now, I've mentioned this elsewhere, also in other videos, that I have had kind of a respite from the really worst stuff. The worst stuff happened about 8 years ago, and I have slowly pieced myself back together, my life back together, slowly, very slowly. I think it was the last video I made on mental health. I mentioned that you really should have no timetable for healing but your own. And I really do think that. I think that you got to take the time. You got to put in the work to get better. And I don't want anybody to think that... I don't want anybody who feels like they're not getting better to feel like they're failing. You're not. You're going through what you are going through. And don't let anybody try to bully you into thinking that, gosh, I'm not getting better quick enough. Or, because like when you have serious mental illness, your behavior is sometimes erratic. It just is. So people who can, and I've said this before too, people who can hang with you, people who are willing to go the mile with you, to go to the 2 miles with you, they're worth their weight in gold. Don't let those people go. People who actually care about you, love you, show it to you constantly. Family, friends, partners, whatever it is, keep those people because they're angels. They're earth angels, absolutely, 100%. But I think the point is that I have the ability to be creative. I have the drive to be creative. Thank God for that, because during these last 8 years, a lot of the time I haven't. And so I use it. I exercise it, because if I don't, because I'm a creative person, and I always have been, and I gravitated towards guitar at a young age and storytelling at a young age. When I don't use those skills, I don't feel right. I don't feel myself. I feel pent up. I probably get a little cranky. You could ask my wife that. She'd probably confirm that. I get cranky anyway, just because I've got a weird cocktail of brain juices and hormones and neurotransmitters and what have you, because I do suffer from mental illness. So it liquidates my life. It allows me to be more me. So I do it. And it's a high wire act because I do it publicly. Because I've never been particularly shy. But I've also never been particularly afraid to the point of preventing myself from sharing myself. I don't know why. It's just in my makeup to be a performer, probably, because when I was a kid, I loved the spotlight. I was the class cut up. I was the one who was always in trouble. I was always the one who was really good at reading, and I was always really good at everything but math, creative stuff and reading, and So I'm an outgoing person, but I'm also an extreme introvert. I love to perform, but I'm also not great with feedback all the time. Contradictions, but I get through it. I don't know that I have a larger message about mental health today. I just kind of wanted to talk about where I come from, why I do what I do, how it helps me, how it can help some of you. I know a lot of people who watch YouTube videos regularly, they see private people, and by private I mean non-represented professionals, right? Just people, just folks with cameras, right? And internet access. They share themselves. So a lot of people who watch YouTube videos want to do it too. I notice that. I get that a lot. And I just want to tell you, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do that. If you have something you want to share, you think it's pretty cool, you think others might think it's cool, just give it it a shot, because what do you have to lose, really? Yeah, you might get some negative feedback. That happens. You might get some internet bullies and trolls. That happens. But I think you'll find that it's worth it. I do. I find that it's worth it, in spite of the negativity, because it's not just negativity. There's tons of positive people on this platform. There's tons of really great people that I have met. Genuine people, caring people, wonderful people. Are there bullies on here? Sure. But don't be afraid of that, and don't be afraid of not being able to be private completely, because you are sharing yourself with other people on the internet. I would urge you to try, if you're feeling brave, to do that. Anybody, but I have been in touch with some people through my channel that is their aspiration. Do it. What's the worst that can happen? Do it. Do it. Come on. Sorry. So I think I'm going to sign off there. I just wanted to talk about creativity and how it can be of benefit. It's a really, I noticed that mentally ill people, for better or worse, have a creative side a lot of the time. You'd be surprised. And exercising that creativity only ever, well, I won't say only ever, because there's a lot of stuff that goes along with making stuff, especially your own expectations, because it's never going to be exactly as good as you want it to be. But making it, even if it's not to share, but making it helps. It makes you feel better. I notice that the voices that I hear are calmer. My emotions are calmer. My body feels calmer. I have less tension because I'm being who I am. I'm exercising my personality. I'm exercising my talents, and it makes me feel better. So think about that. Think about all of that. I'll make another one of these in about a week or two. We'll try it again. We'll try doing this more frequently, as my friend suggested. Great suggestion, by the way. Okay. Like the channel, or I'm sorry, like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. Notification bell, share, comment, whatever you got to do. I will see you next time. Please enjoy more videos. Stay as long as you like. Bye-bye.
School when I was 9, told me she had feelings, she had lies.